welcome along and welcome back to Spruce Mountain Farms. Today we are going to be getting the cotton planted. Ideally we want to get it planted before the end of today's planting window. We only have 2 fields of cotton to plant though this year, and the second one of those is this one. So what I'm going to do is get this tractor going on here with it. We should be able to unfold our fairly large chisel plow. The larger of the fields that we had to do is already done, so that's really good news. We just need to get this one done now. So let's back this into this corner here. We will create a course for it. We're going to do one headland. We want sharp in the corners and generate that. Now that has not done it in 90 degrees, which is kind of what I expected it to do. So I'm going to set this to the longest edge and generate it. Again, that's not quite done it. Right, one more try. We will go manual and we will go angle of 90 degrees and generate. There we go. That is what I wanted. Really weird that it did an angle, but I think it's to do with this being an ever so slight an angle here on this top edge. You can see it there. So, yeah, let's keep that lifted. And then we're going to head down to the bottom corner of the field and get this set up. So a nice early start on this today should mean that this field gets done, but really we want to get this field not only done with this, but also planted and rolled today. So it's quite a big task ahead to get both of these fields done. That though is off and going, so now we want to head back up to the farm and get the seeder or the planter out. And for the planter, we're going to use our second biggest tractor on the farm, which of course is our brand new Claas. So we'll back this up over here and attach this to our planter like so. And this should do absolutely fine on this job, I think. It should be plenty of horsepower. If we have a quick look at our planter, it's 170 horsepower requirement for the planter, and our tractor has 235. So this is more than enough. We've got no... actually, we've got nothing in here. So we need to open up all of these. We'll get seeds in first. We do have quite a few in the far shed. So we should be able to do this. Grab our little 6M. And we'll go and grab the bag lifter as well. And then we'll be able to get this all loaded up and started on the field. We stored all of our big bags down in this shed after we built the new sheds. So what have we got in here? We have got a whole load of seed. We've got no solid fertilizer, which is how we've been running it. We've been topping things up with the liquid fertilizer because we have the sprayer. And we won't buy that until a little bit further into the year. So we should have enough seeds for now to get seeding it ourselves. And I'm going to run the Claas today. We're going to get that going. And then once it gets to the point where we're most of the way through the field, we will get the other John Deere, the larger 6M, on the rollers and get that rolling the field. So let's load up with a whole load of seeds. And there we go. It's taken 1,000 litres of seed. So it only takes 1,000 litres of seed, which is basically a single big bag. Let's have a look. Yeah, 1,000 litres. Double check that's full. It is. So we will then close this down. So all of these along here and done, and we want to close that as well. And yeah, we've got the GPS on here, so that is really nice and really helpful. and should mean that we can get this set up fairly easily. GPS is on. So approach this corner, and I'm going to work from this corner across the field. That should allow us to get the right setup for all of this, and we need to leave enough space at the ends here. We've got a rough idea of how big our headlands should be though, so that's all good. We will set up our GPS, so bring up our menu here, and I'm going to do it A+ heading. So then when we set this, we can go at 0 actually, will do us fine. And now we can see exactly where we want to be on the field and exactly how we want this set up. Move that across, lined up with the edges. Make sure that we're doing cotton because, of course, otherwise we've got the wrong crop going into the field. And, yep, about there I think should be good. Lines off. Turn our seeder on. Drop it down. But I don't think this is a seeder that you need to turn on. I think this is one that just seeds if it runs. No, that isn't. So turn it on. There we go. And away we go with getting the cotton into the ground. Now, field 8 is a pretty big field, and I think it's going to take us a large chunk of the day to do it. I'm not too worried if we don't get both of our fields done today. The important thing is we get both of the fields rolled today, and I very much am keeping an eye on that. I'm gonna start the roller off when we get about halfway through this field, and see if I can get it to actually roll this before the end of the day. We want to get the second field 5B planted if we can. It's not the end of the world, as I said, if we don't, simply because we do still have 2 days of window left for the cotton to get the cotton in the ground. The downside is that it'll be a late cotton harvest if we don't get it in today and end up having to plant it tomorrow. So I'm very much aware of how bunched up everything got at the end of last year, and therefore wanting to make sure that we try and avoid that as much as possible. I mean, we can take the corn a lot earlier than we did before. We know that we can take it in the final stages of growth, and we're going to also get a larger harvester this year for doing the maize. But it really is a case of getting things in when we can, as soon as we can. And we're going to do the same with the corn this year. The corn is we're going to try and get in the first or the beginnings of the window, in the early window, rather than later in the window, to try and maximize the amount of time we have to harvest it. 600 liters of seeds gone, and we're about a quarter of the way through the field. So by the looks of it, it's going to be more than 2 big bags of seeds to get this whole field done, which is not too bad. We got plenty of seeds in storage, thankfully, and to only take a couple of big bags, or just over a couple of big bags, to do our biggest field on the farm is really boding well for us having enough bags to do everything that we want to get seeded this year. So this is going swimmingly at the moment. As I said, we've not got any fertilizer in this, so we're not worried about that at the moment. We probably will want a load later. We have managed to get a whole load of slurry onto this field. This field, we managed to slurry the whole thing. Of course, 5B is only partially done, but that will reduce the fertilizer cost on both of these fields. And maybe we might actually get a little bit of fertilizer, liquid fertilizer of manure, of slurry, onto the other fields if we have time. We'll have to see how much the cows generate between now and then. Fortunately, we've got some good news in that some of you suggested some BGAs, some alternative BGAs last time. And yeah, we're going to take a look at those in the next few episodes and see if we can build those. There's still about 150,000. We should easily have enough silage here to sell to do that. But it's going to be a bit of a trek to do it. So I don't want to do it until after we have got our crops in the ground. And then when we've got a little bit more time, we can then look at possibly grabbing ourselves a BGA on the farm. And I've even picked out a spot for when we eventually do it. Almost out of seed here. Last 2 liters, 1 liter, and we're done. So let's go and get this refilled. We need to do that. I think our large John Deere is almost finished actually on its field as well. So we're expecting that to be ready in the near future to come back to the yard. And I think we're going to see if we can start getting the roller working as well with the larger 6M. So first things first, let's get this backed up to here, and we'll go and open all of our seed pods along the back here. Throw them all open. Jump in here, put the second 1,000 liters in. So yeah, we're just under halfway through the field. So it is going to require a couple of, another bag. We've used 2 in here. There we are, and close these back up like so. Just all the way along like that, and close that. So now we can get this back onto the field. But before I do that, I think we're going to grab the larger 6M and get that set up. And I noticed now that our large John Deere, our really big one, that has finished its work now too. So we can go and sort that out. I think this is our field roller. Let's connect that up here. This is quite wide, so I don't know if this is going to end up catching us up really, really quickly. And I do worry about that a little bit. But we'll see how it goes. We want to bring it on here, and I think we're probably going to want to go round the other way. I want it to start this side of the field, obviously, and not the other. So let's generate a course. The direction I want it to go is 0 degrees. And 1 headland. Okay, let's generate that. I think it's going to start... Oh, no. If I get it to do center first and generate... It is going to start the far end of the field, which is no use to us. So we'll set it counterclockwise, see if that works. Yep, and that will start it from this corner here, which is just about perfect. It is nice and wide, so there's going to be a little bit of overlap by the looks of things. Unfold that, and that's quite a way into the field that starts. So it looks like it's going to roll the edge of the field a little bit. We may have a little bit of cleanup to do afterwards, but otherwise this should be fine. First waypoint, send that off, and we can get back to doing the seeding. Now you can see where it's rolled a little bit of the field that we already have. It's going to make it quite hard actually to see where we have and haven't been if there's too much of an overlap. So we'll have to keep an eye on that, and maybe just extend a little bit how far we are seeding up to the edge, just so that we can make sure that it's in the right place. This though, back into place here, and that is moving, I think, a little bit slower than us too. So we should be all right. Although if it takes too long to get my tractor into position, it's going to catch me up just purely by that. There we go. And there. Turn it on. drop it down, and we're off again. And yeah, now hopefully this field should get done today. I've tried to set it up now so that I'm seeding at least as far into the field as the roller is rolling. That way it should minimize any issues we have later on, and I know that 2 widths of my seeder are easily going to cover the headlands at that point as well, so should all work out fairly well for us. The roller is catching up, but I'm able to move a little bit faster, so as long as I keep a good distance and keep going at a nice efficient rate, the roller shouldn't catch me up, despite the fact that it's a little bit wider than my seeder is. So we're just keeping an eye on things. Probably worth stopping the roller, I think, when we get to the point where we need to refill with more seeds, because that is gonna very much slow us down at that point, and it'll catch up very quickly the longer we're off the field. And you can see how far it comes onto the ends now, that roller. So yeah, we're doing okay. We're keeping ahead of it. We are over halfway through the field now, and it has just gone 1:30, so I am cautiously optimistic. There was one comment last time that I've been thinking about, which is basically somebody suggested that when I bought the spinnery and then unloaded my cotton into it, what I should have done was unload the cotton and then buy the spinnery. And yeah, that used to be a thing in earlier versions of Farm Sim, where you would buy, where you could load up a production with something like cotton, and then immediately buy the production with the money that you'd earned from the cotton, from the item that you just put in there, and go from there, and sort of almost and absolutely double dip on it. Now the trouble is that got patched out. I think it was with patch 1.3. We definitely did that on Hope Belleron. I think we ended up buying the bakery doing that. Certainly one of the productions on there we bought doing that. And I think we did the same possibly on the Old Stream farm. We looked at doing that with grapes and buying the grape juice factory. But certainly at one point that stopped working. And I think it was with the introduction of patch 1.3. So yeah, if you're trying to do that trick now, I don't believe it works anymore. It was neat. It was, you know, you could deliver an entire bale of cotton and find that you could then have enough money from just delivering that to sell or to buy the spinnery. But yeah, no longer the case, unfortunately. It's a trick that no longer works. We're down to our last 100 liters of seeds, so in a moment I'm gonna have to stop our roller in order to make sure it doesn't catch up. It does look like I've got things lined up pretty well at the edges. We have we don't seem to be rolling any of the plowed land anymore, which is great news. Means that this should all work out fairly well at the end. And in fact, this is going to be the perfect place to stop both of these. Actually, I want to go a little bit further. I'm going to go a little bit further with this. Just get rid of this last 48 liters. The fact that we had 100 liters a moment ago starting this means we should get most of the way across this row, actually. And line this back up. Yeah, and in there. And oh, wow. Yeah, you can see that that is lining up actually quite nicely with the ends. And it looks like it's the seeding that is showing at the ends and not this. In fact, Yep, our John Deere also needs repairing. So looks like both these tractors need to go back to the yard quickly, and we can deal with the issues and refill this cotton. So we'll grab 2 more bags of seed. Make sure they're clear of the supports. And that's got both of those. So it is quite tight in this shed. I do want somewhere better, really, storage for this. At the moment, it's quite tight to move around in here. I mean, it's a fine shed for it. But do I knock it down and replace it with something that's maybe a little bit more useful and a little bit more maneuverable? Possibly. It might be a wise choice to make. While this is loading up... Whoa. There we go. While this is loading up, I want to go and get the other tractors back to the yard. So first up is this one. We'll clear the course off that. That has done a great job. Oh, I think it might need a repair, this. Let's have a look. Oh, yeah, wow, yeah. This tractor is going to be in need of a repair. So we need to get this back to the yard. We need to wash everything down and get this repaired, because this is going to be very useful for us doing the seeding going forwards. We're going to want to get this on the seeder for the corn. That will make more sense. So I'll park this up at the end here. I need to not block either my route back to the field or the workshop, because we need to go and get the larger 6M. And this isn't massively in need of repair, but it is in need of repair enough to keep it going with the hired worker. So put that there. We've got the trailer in here because we need to put the sides back on it. This is going to give me... Oh, really? I've got to move the trailer out. Oh, I think we're going to have to keep the hired worker, actually, going with this. It's only a little bit underneath, and I might need to get it going a couple of times, but doing a whole load of musical tractors and musical trailers at the moment is not going to be great. Maybe we can get it far enough in here to actually... Yeah. Try there. See if that registers. And no, still not. So yeah, we're gonna have to get that. I should have put the Red Rock trailer further into here rather than just stick it at the edge, or I should have got it repaired earlier, because at the moment it's very much sitting in my way and causing me issues. But we can get this back to the field, get this restarted, and hopefully this delay won't cost us too much. We're back on the field, and yeah, everything's functioning as it should. We will get that John Deere repaired, but first I want to get things moving around a little bit. What we'll probably end up doing next game day is getting the larger John Deere, the big one, on this seeder, and get that working on getting the next field of cotton planted. We can then use the Claas here to do the rolling while we do repairs with the John Deere, or we might mix things around a little bit. This tractor here, this does not need repair, so this could get going straight off at the beginning of the day. We could then repair up our other equipment and then go from there. Maybe not having the big tractor on this seeder is the way to go. Frees things up a little bit and allows us to do a little bit more work around the farm, but we'll see how we go. And I want to look at as well seeing if we can sell some silage, see if we can get a bit closer to those BGAs as well. So this tractor is going to be in great demand, because this would be perfect for taking silage down to the current BGA to sell it. Although, to be honest, we can do that with the larger 6M as well. They have about the same top speed. Now, I think this is our last row before the headlands, but I do need to double check this. So I've put the lines on for the GPS, and I'm just going to pull this here, see where there, and there is. Yep, this is our last row for the headland. So we want to head back to the entrance of the field now, and we're going to work our way around the rest of the field in a horseshoe shape, so that we get things finished. And you can see it is just slightly more than 1 width's worth that we have here. And as this is all set up and we can do a little bit of overlap, it looks like the roller has been in a very good place for us. So I'm really quite happy with that. We will bring this here like so. And this will be when the roller can catch us up, but I don't think it will. I think we're going to be okay here. And yeah, we'll get a good overlap. And I think that where it has already seeded, if I'm right, yeah, it's not going to make any difference. Perfect. This is working out as I'd hoped. I'm quite pleased the rollers stayed fairly clear of us, which is making this a lot easier. It is somewhere behind that pillar, I think, on the tractor. But it should be, yeah, well clear of where we are. There it is, just coming out from behind there. So that is on its last couple of rows of the main body of the field. It should be going around the field counterclockwise. So that means that it will keep up with us, because we're about to go round the field counterclockwise in our horseshoe to finish things off. I have left quite a big area at the top there where I wasn't quite sure exactly where I was going to go. So I'm just going to fill that patch in before we have an issue with it. And then, yeah, we're going to be going back around the field. And I don't think that the other tractor is going to be too far behind us. There's where I want to fill in. I think that's going to be okay. There may be a small patch at the edge there where the roller's been, but we haven't. But I think that'll be all right. Gonna need to turn some lights on because it is 5 to 6, and the light very much is fading at this point. But that means this job is going to be done today, which is what I'd hoped. I had kind of hoped that we might get both this field and field 5B done, but seems that that's not to be. That's not going to happen. This field, though, will be done, and we'll be able to get an early cotton harvest in this year, which is great. Next time, very much hoping we can knock the second field of cotton out and start getting the corn done. If we can do that, we should get the corn planted in the next couple of days, and not have to worry too much about the corn. Corn should be ready fairly early in its season, in its harvest season, and so we'll be able to get it even earlier than that, because obviously we want to take it when it's green if we can. So yeah, that is all working out fairly well, and I feel much more prepared than I did when we came to harvest this year's crop. Looks like the roller is maneuvering for this headland here, and I'm kind of hoping it's not going to roll that end bit of the field, because if it does, it's then... Yeah, no, there we go. Oh, that's fortunate, because, yeah, it needs to go round the whole field, really, to get where we are. It should do that, though, now. It rolled that little patch there, which isn't a big problem, because it will go over it again when it goes around the field. And it has already got a little bit of where we seeded, though. But you can see here that just counts as being seed bed prepared, rather than actually preventing me from seeding into it. And so we're up to the last corner, and that will be this done. And then our roller's going to come round and roll all of this in. The roller lining up to do the headland in this corner. I don't know if it's going to actually do this last bit, but I should be able to clean that up in a moment if it doesn't. But we then can come up to here, finish this off. And that is the field seeded. We've got the cotton into field 8. That is absolutely perfect. I want to... Ideally, I want to reload this tonight. We can do while we're waiting for the rollers to finish. So let's drop that down. I should have been dropping this down just to make it easier to get it to... be done. And all the way along the line. And then this is sitting here waiting for us to be able to reload. And yeah, we're going to have a very little bit left in these bags, unfortunately. Not much I can do about that. It's going to be about 200 litres between the two bags. Load it up. Like that. And there we go. That is our seeder prepared for the next day. We've got a whole load of repairs to do as well. So I think we'll get the Claas finishing off doing the cotton, and we might switch tractors after that. But that is where I'm going to leave it for today, I think. So all that remains is for me to say thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, drop us a comment, and give it a share. Special thanks to all my patrons and channel members. Your support is invaluable in making these videos and helping the channel to grow. For more from Virtual Farmer, check out the links below, follow on Twitch to watch live, and for more videos, subscribe and ring that bell. I will see you next time. Goodbye.